Ma'am, we are live. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have great privilege to welcome all of you on this very important webinar organized on Wisdom series on Atmanirbhar Bharat. This webinar is Vocal for Local, moving towards self-reliant India, role of consumer voice. I feel my proud privilege to have my panelists, Professor Bijon Mishra and Praveen Khandelwal, who are well-known and most respected people in the country. Welcome, my co-panelists, on this very, very important subject. Mr. Bijon Mishra and Praveen Khandelwal actually need no introduction. The more I say about them, the less it is. But yet, I would like to take few seconds to give them the vast experience they both possess in the field that we are going to discuss this afternoon. Professor Mishra is at present consultant advisor to the Institute of Medical Sciences and a former visiting professor Banaras Hindu University. He has 45 plus years of professional career with 35 years in the consumer education and advocacy in India. See, 35 years is a very long time for anybody to work in a very, very specialized field. My congratulations to Bijonji. 20 years as an international expert in developing consumer focus within quality management systems in developing consumer for public and private organizations. He is a founder publisher of an English monthly consumer magazine, The Aware Consumer. And I recommend everybody to go through this wonderful collection of essays that he produces. It is a great education for everybody. Founder board member on the several consumer and patent organization, and also an independent board member and advisor to several business entities. He has been on several expert groups, committees, and councils as a member constituted by Government of India and worked with several UN bodies and international organizations. He has traveled to more than 35 countries as a member and head of country delegations to study consumer protection policies, standards and regulations, including international negotiations. A great work done in the field of consumer protections, and I bow down to you for your extensive work in this area. Thank you very much for joining us today, Bijon Bhai. Shri Praveen Khandelwal, who is at present is holding the office of National Secretary General of the Confederation of All India Trader. As you know, in India, we have many traders because India has been a trading country for many, many years. You can go back to centuries, and trading community has been actually ruling this country and taking goods from one place to another place. When India had its borders from Afghanistan to on the other end of Burma and other places, Indonesia and so on and so forth. So trading company has played a huge role in India. And today, the man of the masses who's always alert in fighting the cause of unorganized sector in India. The agitation in Delhi against the sealing and demolition in the past few years brought the role of Shri Khandelwal in limelight. He single-handedly fought for the people who were suffering because of certain orders that got passed. And people who have been running their businesses from small places were under great threat. Under the leadership of Shri Khandelwal, those people got respite, and Khandelwal worked for the benefit of millions of people in the city of Delhi. And today, he worked tirelessly for the benefit of many traders across India. He has been raising several issues which are of national importance and for the importance of people who do not have otherwise any voice. So my salute to Shri Praveen Khandelwal ji, and I thank you very much for coming and joining us today. Today's topic actually has emerged with Prime Minister's clarion call on be vocal for local. In fact, if you go back to the history of India, we have many times raised this slogan where we said be Indian, buy Indian, Swadeshi, this, that, etc. But Prime Minister Modi has actually not only talking, he is walking the talk. He is taking several measures which will go a long way in ensuring that India becomes self-reliant in foreseeable future. India actually provides a vast pool of talent. When coupled with our extensive national heritage, makes a tremendous potential to be leveraged. We have been quick on our feet to start focusing on the opportunities, even during these troubled times. As you all know, when COVID-19 broke out, we had no capacity to make any mask. We had no PPEs in this country, and a country of 130 crore people or 135 crore people with no capacity, the kind of pressure Prime Minister must be going through. But instead of going under because of that pressure, he got the entire country's system working to ensure that we not only become self-reliant, today we can export to the other countries all these products. So salute to our Prime Minister for actually paving the way for not only providing safety and security for our own countrymen, but also working as a giver to the rest of the nation who need it more. So thank you very much for being with us. India has actually many things that has brought changes to the consumer behaviors in the recent past. While shopping malls, multiplexes were closed, small grocery shops and vegetables and fruit vendors were delivering essential items at the doorstep of every citizen of our house. Overnight lockdown was declared, but feeding a country of this size was an enormous challenge. You shudder to think the kind of logistics requirement that were there to get the whole system going. We haven't heard anybody sleeping without food. So much of migratory labor was available in large cities in the country, but food was made available to each and every person, even during the most difficult time. And it's a great tribute to the people who are engaged to do this delivery mechanism for our countrymen. So having said that, I would not take much of time. I would actually like both of you to give your perspective as how we as a country can work in a manner which will make India Atmanirbhar, and Prime Minister's dream is achievable from our perspective going forward. So I would request Professor Bijoy Mishra to give his perspective on this very important topic. Over to you, Professor Bijoy Mishra.
Thank you very much, Anil Bhai, in fact, you carry the brand which is well known not only in India, which is an Indian brand, but of course you carry the brand globally too. And you know that, when in my young days, I was born and brought up in a city called Jamshedpur. And that city was actually founded and established by none other but the Tatas. And there were two major industries at that point of time in that city. One was making steel, the other was making automobiles or trucks, and also excavators and other heavy equipments. And because of that, not only the whole city vibrated, but the whole state of Bihar, at that time it was one state, Bihar, there was no Jharkhand. The whole Bihar's industrial progress had the epicenter in Jamshedpur. And this happened only because the Indian brands, Indian people took the burden on their shoulder to get the country going after independence. And we heard similarly about Birlas, we heard about Goenkas, we heard about Singhaniyas, we heard about many families of India who erected and constructed the economy of the country along with the government. Of course, at those days, government had big monopolies and government was controlling most of the activities also in commercial world. But then from the 90s, we slowly opened up because of the WTO, and there were negotiations within the countries to open up and clear the trade barriers to ensure that there is free trade and healthy competition. And that was all done in the interest of the consumer, let me tell you. Why? Because the consumers always look for choice. The consumer always looks for value for money. The consumer works very hard throughout the month to earn his livelihood, and with that money, he uses it for his lifestyle, for his living, for his upkeep, whether it is health, children's education, or buying the daily necessities and essentials. And when you look at that chain, and I'm very happy that Praveen Bhai is also with us, who is one of the last stop shop before the consumer, who is a big link to the whole supply chain, who is here today, and he knows that I've been knowing him for the last more than 15 years, and we have been trying to work together to strengthen the supply chain and the retail trade. So if going back to or giving focus to vocal for local and how India can become Atmanirbhar Bharat, which the clarion call, as you very rightly said, our very dynamic Prime Minister has given, because he is a visionary person. He doesn't look at today, he looks at India after 10 years, after 20 years, after 50 years, and he's giving us that leadership. Having said this, whatever little I know about our leader, he understands the value of promoting Indian economy, because it not only generates employment, what I gave you as an example of Jamshedpur, and he's looking at India as one village. So the Prime Minister wants that every family must have very good employable material with them, which is the human resource, which is used in the interest of the country, and we become self-reliant. And as you know, that in order to be self-reliant, you have to be interdependent. Interdependence means that I have to also allow certain products to come into my country to bring in healthy competition and that choice to the consumer, and also the value for money. While Indian goods also go abroad and compete globally. So Anil Bhai, the cornerstone of Atmanirbhar Bharat, in my view, is quality. If we want to be Atmanirbhar Bharat, we have to bring in standards and regulations which assures the consumer of quality, which assures the consumer of safety, which assures the consumer of good health. So we have to understand that in order to become Atmanirbhar Bharat, how we can promote quality. And as you all know that I am at present on the board of Quality Council of India, which actually leads the quality movement in the country. And I'm trying to do my utmost contribution by bringing in a sea change in the attitude of the manufacturers of the country. If you want to be a good manufacturer, you have to bring in the best quality of the world in India, manufactured by you. So if you can, in the domestic market, give the best quality, you will not only capture the Indian consumers, but you will be able to capture the global consumers. And let me give you a small example quickly, the success model of our country. You look at the pharma sector. Today, in the pharma sector, Indian medicines manufacturers are now world renowned. All over the world, people are coming and investing in India to learn our good practices in terms of manufacturing pharmaceutical products. And India is now seen to be the pharmacy of the world because we have mastered the art of generic medicines. And we have given high quality medicines, not only to the Indian consumers, but also to the global consumers. This is a very good example which we should try to replicate in all major fields, whether it is automobile, whether it is engineering, whether it is white goods products, anything, including, making handphones, small smart phones, where you know that we were so much dependent on external countries to help us out with good quality, cheaper phones, because our local manufacturers could not compete in terms of the pricing and the quality. And that is why we had to depend on imports. And in order to become Atmanirbhar, my closing remark is that the government must incentivize our local manufacturers. Incentivize not only by subsidy and money, but incentivize by upgrading their technology and their knowledge in terms of good manufacturing practices and good distribution practices. This is where Praveen Khandelwalji will come in order to adopt the best retail practices. How do you ensure that the consumer gets a quality which is assured? How do you assure that the consumer gets a refund of a substandard product which has been sold wrongly to him? How do you assure that the consumer gets an exchange of a product of a better quality than a quality which has been sold to them? The most important issue is, till that chain from the manufacturer to the consumer is not made seamless, we will in India never be able to have a better trade balance. We have to look at, and like you have seen with the clarion call of the Honorable Prime Minister, how our trade deficit in the month of September with China has reduced. We have reduced our dependence on certain countries on whom we used to depend a lot on imports. And that is the example we have to set now. And what does the Indian consumer want? Assured quality, assured service with a smile. And that is what made our products, our engineers, our factories, not able to compete. With this, I would like to now close by saying that Anil Bhai and Praveen Bhai, let us all join hands together to make this Atmanirbhar campaign of our Honorable Prime Minister a grand success, and a success to such an extent that the whole world starts demanding Indian products made in India. Not only our consumers, but around the world. Not only for pharmaceutical medicines, but also our smartphones, or also our engineering products, and also our steel which we manufacture in India, and automobiles and whatnot. So I would like to tell my friends who are in the industry that let's all join hands together as one, as a strong partnership to take this Atmanirbhar Bharat to its next level with the support of all the chambers of commerces and especially ASSOCHAM, which has organized this event today. And I thank them for giving me this opportunity to come and speak at this forum and reach out to the various viewers who are viewing this program today, and ASSOCHAM making it happen. So I congratulate ASSOCHAM for organizing this event and also inviting me to speak on behalf of the consumers. And as I said, in a short while, in as short manner I could do, is make the consumers feel that they have been assured quality, and you are going by your promise, and you will go to the end till the consumer is not happy. And that is where Atmanirbhar Bharat will depend on. Thank you very much, Anil Bhai.
Thank you very much, Bijoyanji, for sharing your perspective. Undoubtedly, it is important that Indian products compete with internationally benchmarked products. Then only they'll be able to make inroads into the country. And I'm sure all the manufacturers of this country are fully conscious of that fact. And they have demonstrated in a very short while how PPEs and masks can be made, which are of international quality. So there is no denying the fact that we have to have all the products available to the consumers, which are benchmarked with the international quality and standards. So I thank you for your remarks. Now I will request Shri Praveen Khandelwalji to give his perspective on the role of consumers and industries, so that we can take this discussion forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Anilji, and thank you to ASSOCHAM for organizing a webinar on the most important subject of the day, which is vocal for local. While fully endorsing the slogan of Honorable Prime Minister for vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat, and also endorsing the views expressed by my dear friend Mr. Bijoy Mishra, I would like to say that first of all, we need to understand who are the carriers of vocal for local. So if we look at the ecosystem of our business ecosystem of our country, precisely there are 4 carriers, rather 5 carriers. The first carrier is the manufacturer, the corporate sector. The second carrier is small industries, again small manufacturers. The third carrier is the traders, and the fourth carrier is consumer, and last but not least, the fifth carrier is the logistics system in the country. If we collaborate these 5 forces together, then certainly I am sure that vocal for local in Atmanirbhar Bharat can be put into reality. But now we have to look at the things from the other end also. You also talked about certain countries, and Bijoy Bhai also talked about certain countries for maintaining standards and all that. I fully agree with that. That yes, there has to be some kind of standards for the manufacturer, for the traders, and for the logistics also, so that the ultimate consumer should get the best quality product with the compatible prices. And also we are able to export Indian products to other countries. But let me tell you the other story. The retail trade of India consists of 7 crore traders across country. We are giving employment to around 40 crore people in India. and we are generating an annual turnover of around 60 lakh crores of rupees. And we are the second largest employer in the country after agriculture. And unfortunately, post independence, no government at the center or the state has ever kept this sector on priority. With the result that presently, when I'm talking to you, only 5% of the traders are getting formal finances from banks and financial institutions. Rest of the 95% traders in the country are depending upon private money lenders or their relatives or other informal sources. So we can just understand that if finances will be from informal sources, the remittance of the finances will also be in informal way. So that is why I always say that country's GDP is highly underrated, because we are not calculating that 95% of the business which is being carried in informal sector. If we collaborate those, then certainly we are near to double digit. And Anil Bhai, the most important thing is that this important sector doesn't have a policy and doesn't have a ministry. Whereas on the other side, the other sections of the Indian economy, if I take industry, they have a ministry, they have a policy. If I take small industry, they have a industry, they have a policy. If I call consumers, they have an industry, they have a policy. If I talk logistics, they have an industry, they have a policy. But unfortunately, for the retail sector, so far there is not a policy, not a ministry. After great amount of deliberations with the government, and I am thankful to Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi for converting Department of Industrial Promotion of Ministry of Commerce to Department of Internal Industry, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. After creation of this, now we are expecting a national retail policy for this sector, and I think in early January there will be a policy. So standards can be maintained when you have a definite policy for them. That is most important. Unless and until you have some kind of parameters, some kind of defined borders, no sector can grow. We have seen Vijay Bhai was talking about Mr. Tata for Jamshedpur. From those days till today, the corporate sector has done quite well. And for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat, first of all, Anil Bhai, we have to see the ground realities. Actually, it is for whom? It is for the consumers. And we have varied consumers in the country. From bottom down, the poorest consumer to the bottom up, the highest consumer. So we have to take every consumer into consideration, and then we have to decide in what way. See, in why countries like China, Japan, or Germany survive to such a good extent that now they are producing world-class things. Why not India? Can't we do it? Yes, we can do it. But unfortunately, we are not getting the same kind of support what these countries are providing to their manufacturers, to their traders, to the other sectors of the economy. So therefore, if we really want to have vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat to do well, all these 5 sectors which I narrated in the past have to come together. And under a definite strategy, these all sectors will have to sit together, will need to have evolve a common strategy. आप बनाएंगे नहीं तो हम बेचेंगे क्या, और हम बेचेंगे नहीं तो आप बनाएंगे क्या? ये झगड़ा बहुत दिन से हमारे देश में चल रहा है. So therefore, there is an urgent need to make understand the manufacturers what exactly the Indian consumer requires, and to what extent, because of our resources, we can feed our customer. See, the trader is the link between the manufacturer and the consumer. So manufacturer, if it is a corporate or non-corporate, both will have to come together. There are many non-corporate entities who are ancillaries of corporate companies. So they have to work together to decide what kind of quality and what kind of goods are to be produced in India. Likewise, the traders who are the important part of the supply chain. So first of all, we have to make sure that this vibrant supply chain of India should remain exist. On the sake of saying middleman, third person, like that, these are all obnoxious things. कि हम middleman को हटा रहे हैं, हम उसको हटा रहे हैं. Who is the middleman? We the traders are also the son of this soil. So therefore, this mechanism needs to be strengthened in a quite big manner. And as Mr. Bijan was referring to China, the two festivals, one is the Rakhi festival, another is Ganesh Chaturthi festival. It has shown to the world that India can do it and India can do better. I am sure with the persons who are joining this link and both Anil Rajput ji and Bijan Bhai, for the first time, when opportunity was given to Indian people, we came out with enormous designs of Rakhis. And from where? From those poor people, we got it manufactured by those poor people in different states. So their skills we brought into the limelight. Same case was happened because we were importing Rakhi for about 5 crores of rupees. We were importing Ganesha for 500 crores of rupees. And from Raksha Bandhan to Diwali, we are importing goods from China worth 60,000 crores of rupees. And we have destined to make this vocal for local in reality. And the recent statistics issued by the government of India, it says that from July to August, there was a fall of 27.63%. Who did it? It is the consumer of the country who did it, who preferred for the Indian goods. So before going further, I will just narrate that on behalf of 7 crore traders of the country and on this esteemed platform of SOCHM, I can assure Bijan Bhai that we are ready to work together, and let Mr. Anil Rajput be in charge, and within the shortest period, we will draw out a code of conduct for the traders of the country, that as to what could be their behavior. And I can assure you that with my link of 40,000 trade associations across country, that code will be implemented both in letter and spirit. We want to bring vocal for local. We want the Atmanirbhar Bharat, but at the same time, if you will allow some kind of advantage to our competitors, and when level playing field will not be equal, how can we go for vocal for local? So therefore, the creation of an even level playing field is also very necessary, besides having standards. And there has to be a policy. And all the five sectors which I have narrated, they will have to come together on one table. We will have to draw out a strategy, a collaborative strategy. What the manufacturers will do, what the small manufacturers will do, what the logistics sector will do, what traders will do, and what we expect from consumers. Because I sorry to be done by, most of the time, even the consumers are also on a wrong track. So we have to bring a congenial atmosphere in the country if we really want to go for vocal for local at Atmanirbhar Bharat. And here I conclude my remarks. Thank you very much, Anil Bhai, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Khandelwalji, for very, very exhaustive introduction to this whole issue of how traders also have to evolve, how they have been playing a very, very important role, the kind of employment is generated by, and they are actually entrepreneurs in their own right. They all work without any government support and infrastructure and earn their livelihood. They play a very important role in the economy of our country, and we have a lot of respect for all these people. Yes, the time has come for them also to move on to actually integrate in a newer world, so that they can compete in the new emerging environment. So all that is there is what I think Bijon has been discussing with you as to how we can get the trading community in the country to come on a level that they are also fully competitive and contemporary. They are also totally in line with what is happening in the global world. So thank you very much for raising all these issues. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you can give your opinion. And I'm sure SHM, based on your advice, would take those issues forward with the government. As you very correctly raised, Praveen Bhai, that there are several stakeholders who are required to play a role in making Prime Minister's clarion call of vocal for local a grand success. So what you think is the role of government in this, manufacturers and service providers? What is the role civil society can play, and what role consumers can play in this? So I think, Praveen Bhai, you can go first, and then we can seek Bijon Bhai's view on
Thank
this.
you. Thank you, Anilji. As far as my understanding is concerned, first of all, the
Praveen Bhai, you are
government
on
will
mute.
have to. I am on mute. Am I audible now?
No, okay.
Yeah, audible.
Yes.
As far as my understanding is concerned, first of all, if we really want to have vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat, the government has to relax certain norms. Today, if you want to start a business or an industry, you have to take 28 types of licenses. You can't produce in a sector where, first of all, you will have to get 28 types of licenses, and most of the licenses are redundant. They are in the country since pre-independence. So situation has drastically changed. So the producing sector should be liberated to the extent that it should be easy for the producing sector to produce more. They have to put most of their mind on how how to reduce, how to increase the production and how to reduce the cost. That is the first point. And my second point is that government should also give some kind of incentives to the producing sector, whether it is corporate or non-corporate. Because when you will give some kind of incentives based on certain parameters, the corporate or the non-corporate producers will do their level best. So, first of all, there is a need to liberate them from the nexus of so many laws, from the command of multiple authorities. We have central authority, we have state authority, then we have local self-government authority. So there are so many authorities on us. And these authorities are not doing any good thing rather than taking their share of, their share of the production without giving any kind of relief. So unless and until the producing sector is liberated from all these things, we can't expect vocal for local to do much better on that scale. My second point is that we need to evolve more methods of production. So what we have suggested to the government, that in order to give a boost to rural empowerment or rural employment, we have suggested the government to create special production zones near the villages for the capacity of around 50 acres and give one set of items to those producers and also give them the packaging and other facilities and provide them one window facility at the zone itself. The producer should not be asked to go to this, first to this office, then to that office, and then to go to justice, to court of law for getting this thing done. In several cases, I have seen, and I have that my traders, those who are dealing in industries, they have been allotted land by the government, and after that they are moving from pillar to post for getting the environment certificate. What it is? If government is giving any land, the particular land should be absolved from all kinds of those things. So there are so many things, and I think our corporate sector and non-corporate sector of the manufacturers, they can do well. They are fully equipped. And for small industries, we have to give them technology. We have to give them some kind of relief. So if government takes it on priority, then certainly I am very hopeful that our producers are capable to produce the best quality goods in the country, which will be competitive not only for domestic market but for the global market as well. Thank you.
Vijayan Bhai, what is your view on these parameters? In your opinion, what role can be played by government, manufacturers, service providers, civil society, and consumers?
See, the most important thing, Anil Bhai, is government is one. There should be one government. In our country, unfortunately, we have 36 countries in one country. You see, the most unfortunate part in our country is that we divide our country into several states which are not seeing eye to eye with the policies, which should be uniform, which should be harmonized, which should be standardized. You see, if I go to a ministry and discuss something on consumer protection, the first thing that ministry will tell me, go to Consumer Affairs Department. Then I have to tell them that Consumer Affairs Department is only looking after consumer protection. What about consumer consumer welfare in terms of a policy for traders. Now, as Praveen Bhai said, it took us 20 years to have a department for internal trade. There was nothing called internal trade. And internal trade was always the domain of the state machinery. And the only role they played was taking fees month after month without adding any value. So the first point I would like to make is that any authority, any agency, anybody who is being surviving on taxpayers' money must add some value. And like our Honorable Prime Minister said when he took over charge as the Prime Minister of the country, that he will provide less government, more governance. So the stress has to be on good governance. And good governance means bringing efficiency, ensuring that a product cost comes down, not goes up. Taxation policies has to be harmonized, uniform. Evasion of taxes must be plugged. All these, because the consumers are paying taxes, but it is not reaching the exchequer. It is not reaching where it should reach. So we must differentiate between the grey market or spurious goods market, which Anil Bhai, you have been ably giving a leadership in terms of countering counterfeit, products. And you know how much we bleed because of counterfeit products in the marketplace. The consumer assumes that he's buying the right brand at the right price, but actually he's buying a substandard brand, imitated as a good brand, and he pays taxes, but that tax doesn't reach the government. That's the first thing I would like to tell the government, to tighten up all these loopholes which are existing. In terms of role of a retailer and a consumer, you see, the consumer always wants what? That I should get what I deserve to get out of the money I've paid. And I must be assured of that quality. And as very correctly Naveen Bhai said, of course, there are black sheep everywhere. So there could be people who might be trying to blackmail or over demand or high expectations. So we have to ensure that the legal system is there, which the Consumer Affairs Ministry is playing. That if you feel that you are being shortchanged or you are being cheated, then you can go to the court of law and seek relief. But my contention is litigation in our country is not only cumbersome and long drawn, but it is highly expensive. So we have to understand that do we allow consumers to litigate or do we allow consumers to immediately get a redressal? And that is why in the Consumer Protection Act of 2019, we have brought in a lot of provisions where a consumer should expect prompt redressal, immediate redressal. And if they don't get, then they can go for mediation, they can go for ombudsman, they can go for many other options of alternative dispute resolutions. And that is what we want to practice in India. And that is what I've been telling Praveen Bhai also all these years, that he should bring in these kind of voluntary mechanisms where the retailers are protected, the consumers are protected, and everyone gets a value out of the supply chain. So in my view, the role of every actor in the supply chain, starting from the farmer, starting from the raw material supplier to the manufacturer, to the wholesaler, to the retailer, and then to the consumer, including the logistic chain, they all have to create a value. They have to add a value to the system. And if they're not adding value, then they will not be able to stay in the marketplace. That is where the international products are dominating. You have to ensure, and government has to ensure, that good policies are not only in papers, but are practiced. We have to ensure that the laws are implemented. We have to ensure that they are prompt, so that prompt justice is given, not long drawn. And that is why many culprits or many of these criminals who practice unfair trade practice, they get away because they know that they can escape from our laws and it is not deterrent. So there are a number of places where all of us can play a role, provided we are all serious and sincere to the work which we are doing. And if we are sincere and we want to do it, we can show it, and we have shown it also in the past. We have shown it during COVID period. We have shown it during this most unfortunate pandemic period. that we have all the talents, we have all the skills in the country, and all the migrant laborers who have gone back to their home, they can be well employed in their homes also, and they can be given a good livelihood. At the same time, some of them who are needed to come back, they should be made to come back with a proper security in terms of their social security. I want to close by saying that you don't have to always give money, but you have to give facilities. Like a retailer, for example, he should have a full coverage of his health insurance. A retailer should be given full incentive in terms of his children getting education at a cheaper cost. So all these kind of things you don't have to give in money for. You can give it in terms of lot of welfare gestures to the retailers, to the small manufacturers, to the even corporates. But today we find that many places we are not balancing this. We are giving too much to some people and nothing to some people. That can't happen. We have to put the taxpayers' money into a lot of scrutiny and use of it very transparent and accountable. And as I said, till we don't add value, I don't think that money needs to be expended. If you can't add value, please don't spend that money, because you are actually ruining the country's economy. With this, I would like to answer your first question.
Thank you very much, Bijan Bhai. As we all know that India actually thrives or revives or survives only on the strength of small and medium enterprises. We don't have very large enterprises in the country. We have a very large number of people who are small and medium enterprises in the country. And this pandemic has hit all of them very hard. So there is a need to actually perhaps do something more than what would be done under normal circumstances. So in your view, what role they can play to fulfill the vision of Bharat and also achieve their own dreams going forward? So what would be your advice to the people who are engaged in small and medium enterprises? So Bijan Bhai, you can first start, and then I'll request Praveen Bhai to comment on this.
Okay, my first recommendation is there should be a complete inventory created, a document created, that how many industries we have got, what is their capacity, what is their core competency, and what can they be used for other than what they were doing. And then make a inventory of all such products which are being imported into our country but could be manufactured internally and domestically. Once we match these two together properly and incentivize the small scale manufacturers and the medium scale manufacturers get linked with big houses, big manufacturers, and be ancillary to them in terms of outsourcing or in terms of being subcontracted, then I am sure we will be able to utilize a lot of unutilized capacity. You see, when I ask a small scale manufacturer today, Anil Bhai, they always tell me that they're working only 30% of their capacity. Now, in order to utilize the balance 70%, they have to be helped, which means our internal procurement system, whether it's government under the GEM portal or wherever the government is, sourcing materials, they have to do such a matching that there is a kind of a good supply chain developed in terms of the demand and the supply, which is today unfortunately not there. We always press the button when there is emergency. We don't do planning. We don't plan ahead the next 10 years what we will do. We are all the time planning what we should do tomorrow and what needs to be done tomorrow because of a phone call coming today and that person wants a result tomorrow. That doesn't happen. That is not possible. And that is why we are suffering. So we have to have a good, robust planning mechanism with clear-cut accountability and transparency in terms of its rolling out process. People fudge documents, people fudge data, let me tell you, in our country, which is very unfortunate. They don't have the guts to say that I have messed up or I have goofed up. They are all the time defending. They are not at all trying to find out how I can improve, rather than all the time giving a blame to somebody else. We have to come out of that attitude. And that is where the incentivization will come. That is where we will be able to utilize our capacity. That is my view.
Thank you very much, Bijan Bhai. Praveenji, what in your opinion small and medium enterprises need to do to accomplish Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Anilji, as you rightly said, the small and medium enterprises in the country are the real backbone of Indian economy. But at the same time, it is the worst sector which is facing all kind of onslaughts from every quarter. Post-COVID and presently, the small and medium enterprises sector is passing through the worst period of their life. At the one hand, the supplies made in the month of November and December, they have the remittance is still not received by these small enterprises. Normally, in a business, we have a credit facility ranging from 60 to 90 days, and unfortunately, the supplies made in the month of November and December, their remittance was to be materialized in March or February. Unfortunately, there was lockdown and everything, and during the period of lockdown, there was no inflow, but yes, the outflow was there, with the result that small and medium enterprises are today eating their own capital. They don't have the requisite finances. And unfortunately, the remittances of the supplies made in November and December is, on the basis of my study, it will be reimbursed by the end of November and December. But at the same time, during this intervening period, the outflow is there. So now today there is a question of survival of the sector. The enhancement of production or the enhancement of employees or many other things are now at the backbenches. And unfortunately, though I fully respect the vision of Honorable Prime Minister for empowering the small businesses in the country, my first example is that we took Mudra scheme to Honorable Prime Minister, and he realized that scheme, yes, it is certainly going to do well, and within 11 months the scheme was announced, and you would be shocked to see the tagline of what the tagline we created was funding for unfunded. And unfortunately, that sector is still deprived of Mudra schemes. Same is the case with the 20 lakh crore package given by the finance minister. The traders were not a part of that, not even a single rupee was given to them, whereas the small and medium sector, which was allotted quite a handsome amount into that, is yet to get the proceeds. So in these circumstances, how we can see that this sector will survive? So at present there is an emergent need for this sector to survive. And yes, as Bijan Bhai rightly said, again, and in the meantime, I am thankful to HUL. HUL was the first corporate in the country who join hands with SBI, and through SBI, HUL is giving 50,000 rupees to its small retailers as a loan through SBI. So if can do it, I'm sure that other corporate sectors and including ITC, they can join hands with banking sector to provide the instant money to roll out for this system. And believe me, as per the government statistics, the NPA in our sector is less than 1%. So the money is safe. So therefore, my observation is that we have to arm the small and medium enterprises with requisite finances and augment their capacity, which remains unutilized, giving them technology wherever they require, and providing them a guidance from time to time as to how they can reduce their cost. So in that way, if things are worked out, and for that I fully agree with Bijon Bhai, there has to be single authority. Whenever there will be a multiple authority, there will be discretion. And we all know wherever the discretion is, then things are taking various other shapes. I need not to elaborate them, but now it is the right time when this small and medium enterprises sector needs a favorable and support policy from the government side, from the corporates, from other sectors. And I will advise the corporate sector that you have to make CSR. So why don't you make CSR with your own distributors or your own supply chain to make them viable in this ecosystem? This is my answer to your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we
There
Yeah.
was a poor signal. There was poor signal, so I couldn't hear in between Praveen Bhai. But anyway, my next question is to Bijon Bhai, that what kind of partnership can be forged between government, corporates, and consumer organizations
very
to
very
achieve
relevant
the
question.
objective of Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Yeah, very relevant question. You have made. The government should immediately constitute a working group of people being represented from these clusters. And this working group's work will not only be recommendatory in nature, but also in terms of facilitating the implementation of the various government schemes and plans and making them very transparent and open. Because technology is one of the biggest enabler today. And all the states should come under one kind of a banner or a portal or one platform where all such schemes and policies which the central government has announced and all such schemes and policies which the various state governments have announced, every stakeholder should be able to come and share their problems, which should be resolved promptly within as the stipulated time earmark, rather than giving excuses and defending themselves and ensuring that they somehow close that complaint or close that feedback and not find a resolution. So my small suggestion and humble suggestion is, get people who can deliver, get professionals who can work. And there are a lot of talented people in our country, let me tell you, who can be engaged and professionally engaged to implement such activities, and not leave it only to the government to do, but a group of people forming a kind of a common platform with a common mission that Atmanirbhar Bharat has to be seen bringing a change in the next 12 months. And with that as a target, this group should get constituted and we should start working together and become accountable to the citizens when it comes to the use of taxpayers' money to be used for such purpose, and ensure that every beneficiary for whom the taxpayers' money is being spent gets that benefit and acknowledges that, yes, I have got it. Like, Praveen Bhai mentioned about Bandhan Bank and mentioned about various schemes which the government has brought in, where people are running still pillar to post to access those services, and they don't know whom to call, and there is nobody ready to talk to them, and there is no their questions, and then they're just being shunted around, which is the biggest tragedy of our country. And I would always plead to the decision makers that please do not make anybody get angry because of your inefficiency. Make people smile with your efficiencies. That is what I would like to recommend.
Thank you, Bijan Bhai. Praveen Bhai, in your opinion, what role traders can play in achieving the objective of Atmanirbhar Bharat?
I think traders can play a major role because 130 crore of Indian population have the first contact with the trader only. For every kind of their requirements, they have to go to a trader across country. We have more than 7 crore traders, and they can play a very important role. Every trader in the country can be a brand ambassador for vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat. On an average, one shop in the country, if I take the minimum figure, gets minimum 20 footfalls, out of which the next day around 5 footfalls repeats and 15 footfalls are new people. So traders can be a good contact point for launching a whisper campaign as to why we need vocal for local in Atmanirbhar Bharat. Because still many people in the country doesn't know the real value of vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat. When we say vocal for local, then we have to also augment the capacity of our artisans, of our karigars, of our craftsmen, and so many other people, those who are working across the country and they are self-employed. For Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Prime Minister is very clear that India should not be dependent upon any other country for their requirements. So as Bijan Bhai or either you were saying in the past discussion, that there has to be a study has to be made as to what are the items which we are importing today can be produced in India. Rest of the critical, see, in the case of China, when we gave a boycott China call, boycott Chinese product, we crafted four things. What we are importing from China? We are importing finished goods, we are importing raw material, we are importing spare parts, and we are importing technology goods. So in the first phase, we have kept the finished goods. And all those finished goods, what we are importing from China, are already are being manufactured in India. So for 2021, up to December 2021, we will go for this. And after that, we will take the raw material, then we will take the spare part, then we will take the technology goods. So my single point is that we have to segregate those things. And since traders are the deliverers. So they will have to educate as to how they can play a major role in bringing the vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat on ground reality. And therefore, there has to be a communication, direct communication between the government and the trade associations. The reach of the trade associations is to the extent that there is a place in Leh where there is no post office of the government. Whereas I have got 40 shops in there in Leh at a place, and there is an association and we are connected with them. So this is the kind of reach of the traders, and we can utilize the reach in a very positive manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Praveen Bhai. My next question is, does this call for young entrepreneur? And in your opinion, what could be the opportunities for them? And because this, some of them may have joined our session, so it could be a good guiding principle for them going forward. So, Bijoy Bhai, what is, in your opinion, can be an opportunity for young entrepreneurs in this vocal for local?
It's a very good question. Again, you have framed, Anil Bhai. You see, young entrepreneurs are those who are either just out of the college, or they have joined an organization, worked for some time, and want to be on their own. The most important aspect is, how do you motivate a young entrepreneur to do that activity which he likes the most to do? So you have to understand what is this young entrepreneur wants as his career, and he enjoys doing it, and that is his either hobby or a talent or a passion. Once we know that, then it is the role of the community or all of us together, including the government, including the manufacturer, including the logistic people or the retailers, to encourage that young entrepreneur to be an intern or a trainee with certain big corporates who have been successful in their career, in order to train them in terms of how to manage a business well. You see, the most important thing is, what I have observed in our country is, most of the time, the entrepreneur is unable to manage his finance with his core activities. And he lands up either going bankrupt, or he lands up not able to manage his finances well, and he is unable to grow. So the most important thing is, there are number of facets which needs to be trained to a young entrepreneur. It is just not giving him a money or giving him a credit line to start a business. You see, so he has to be helped in terms of implementation of his business plan. So he has to be attached to certain big houses or big corporates or big academic institutions or a very renowned, reputed institutions of management studies, where he can always lean on and be guided and evaluated on a day-to-day basis, so that he doesn't go wrong and he is helped at the time of need the most in terms of giving the right direction. So I feel that, like, we have started a lot of schemes where we have Atal Incubating Centers promoted by Niti Aayog. But what I have seen is, incubating center has started, but the poor entrepreneur is absolutely aimless. He doesn't know what to do. Those incubators are not functioning because there is nobody guiding them. There is no mentor. There are no guidance given to them. And when I go and visit them and I try to figure out why they are so disappointed, their first reaction is, we don't get any guidance. Nobody comes to meet us. Nobody comes to guide us. But investments have been done by the government in these incubators. but the right people are not there to help them in the right manner, in the right time. So it is very important that we make all these schemes functional efficiently. And the young people, they don't get demotivated. They are all constantly being motivated to become successful entrepreneurs is the buzzword, or is the mantra which we have to all adopt in terms of taking us forward.
Thank you, Bijan Bhai. Praveenji, what is your advice to the young entrepreneurs?
Anilji, really the young entrepreneurs in India, particularly in last 5 or 6 years, have shown well. But it is also a reality that 90% of the startups initiated by young entrepreneurs dies of their own death. Only 10% of the startups could able to survive in the country. The reason is that there is no hand holding of these startups. So what I feel and what is my considered opinion is that we need not to give only some kind of finances. There is no need of any finances. Angel investors are there in the country, but what we really need is the hand holding of startups to tell them the right way, to give them the correct bazaar, and to support them till the time they become sustainable. So therefore, the young people have very more things to do, and we load them with all kinds of things. Again, I will say that we have to encourage the young entrepreneurs. So we need not to force them to go pillar to post for getting all types of clearances for their innovative ideas. We don't want to discourage them. Therefore, some kind of hand-holding policy with Startup India of Department of Commerce needs to be taken up on the priority, and till the time the startup becomes sustainable, we have to keep hand-holding for them. Then only they will be more able to contribute their best to the vision of vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat of Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Praveenji. I am sure all the listeners who are young entrepreneurs would be very intently looking at it. And I'm sure if there are people from the corporate sector, they will also be hearing as to the crying need that is there, whether for mentorship or for handholding. And they will all come forward in helping our young people in taking their dreams forward, and also accomplishing Prime Minister Modi's dream of making India Atmanirbhar. I have another question that, I feel, making India entrepreneur cannot be done in a very short while. It has to be done in stages. There are some things that we can do it in a short, something we can do in a medium term, and some may have to be done in the longer term perspective. So I go first with Professor Bijon Mishra to know as to, in his view, how it has to be prioritized, what items can be taken first, what items can be done in a phase 2 and phase 3, in a medium term and a long term. Professor
See, the most
Mishra.
important, thank you, Anil Bhai, thank you very much. You see, I would focus young entrepreneurs to come into the health sector. It's one of the most emerging sector in the coming months, where the consumers or the citizens have become very aware about in terms of keeping good hygiene, eating good food, making sure that they eat the right food, making sure that they are able to keep themselves away from any kind of avoidable diseases, so keeping a healthy lifestyle. So there is a great need where youngsters should come in terms of providing credible, honest, unbiased information pertaining to health. So it could be diagnostics. You see, today, all the consumers feel the diagnostics is being used irrationally. Now that myth has to be closed. And that can only get closed when youngsters bring in new technology, new enabling factors where the consumers can cross-check that if a doctor has advised certain processes or diagnostics, then it can be re-verified whether it is needed or not needed. And if it is needed, then where they can go to the nearest place where they can get a good laboratory to give accurate information, which is calibrated, accredited, and certified for the purpose for which they are doing the test. Now, these kind of information, trajectory is very important in terms of tomorrow's India. And I feel that there's a huge kind of an opportunity in the healthcare sector, which is linked with the technology provider. So which means lot of technology is coming through artificial intelligence, then in terms of blockchain technology, where all youngsters can get trained in terms of using technology for various issues. Like, for example, Praveen Bhai is in the retail sector. Now, through technology, a consumer can come to know that if I want to buy a thermometer and I want a good quality thermometer, in which store will I get it, which is nearest to my house? Or how can I get it in my house delivered at the shortest possible time and the best quality? So these kind of informations which are credible, where it empowers the consumer to make an informed choice, there is a huge opportunity which is coming and emerging in our country. And I feel that a lot of youngsters can become actually founders of such organizations. And a lot of youngsters can become good partners to that change and take employment opportunities also from these founders to move forward. So one, as I said, technology. Second, I said healthcare. Then I said food, packaged food, where you can get wholesome food, a food of nutrition. Then there are areas like, your daily essentials, like cereals, like your agricultural produces, all these things, as the new farm bills have come in, which is enabling the farmers to sell directly to the consumers. It is enabling the farmers to sell directly to those retailers who can then give them a better price. So there are a number of laws which our Honorable Prime Minister has brought in now, which should be put into practice in terms of ensuring that the consumers get the value for the money, and it generates employment to the youths and also opportunities to the youths in terms of being entrepreneurs. So I think there is huge opportunity. It is only a matter of imagination and a matter of linkages between financial institutions, angel funders, government agencies, big manufacturers and food processors, and including the retailers. So there is a huge opportunity to build a strong partnership in the coming years.
Thank you, Vijayan Bhai, for a very extensive response. May I now request Praveen Bhai to give his view on this?
Anil, beside the health sector, I feel there are some other 4 or 5 other sectors where the entrepreneurs can get immediate business, and that relates, number one, to the ancillaries of the existing industry. Secondly, the Clean India campaign of the Prime Minister. Thirdly, the technology sector. And the fourth one is the retail trade. Because much has to be done in the retail trade. So far, out of 7 crore traders, only 35% could be able to connect it through computerization. 65% of the traders in the country are need to be computerized. We want to upgrade them. We want to give them the latest tools for their business. So there is a big market for that. Likewise, for Clean India, it is going to be a regular feature now. So for Clean India, we need to have innovative ideas instead of going for all these brooms and all those big machines and all that. Do we have some kind of a small cleaning equipment which on DIY basis people can do themselves? There is a big market for that. Likewise, technology. I am pleased to share with you that very shortly the Confederation of All India Traders is launching a e-commerce portal uh, uh, called Bharat E-Market, and we have large openings for smaller technologies because we want to empower all the traders of the country with that system. So likewise, there are other portals also. They also need technology to leverage their reach. So therefore, these three four things are the areas where these people can contribute, and they will get immediate results also. But at the same time, the Startup India or the Government of India should also come forward with a kind of support policy for these young entrepreneurs and also the corporate sector to give them an opportunity to join hands with them. So in a collaborative way, we can do many things for these young innovators. And I can tell you, because I keep on meeting these people, they have fantastic ideas. Fantastic ideas. They have revolutionary ideas. We just need to handhold them and get them to the work and bring their technologies, their mind, their innovations in the limelight so that maximum people of the country can take benefit, and that will be the real reality for vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat. That's all.
Thank you, Praveenji. I have a last question for both of you, which will be a kind of message that you would like to give to the countrymen of India. After all, whatever Prime Minister is saying about Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is the people of this country will really the beneficiary of this. The real benefit has to come to the not only as a consumer, but as a countryman of this country. You can only have a secure country, you can have an economically independent country only if it is self-reliant. And this has been our dream for the last 70 years since the time we've got our independence. But nobody has made the kind of effort Prime Minister Modi ji is making. So what will be your message to the people of this country that if we don't come and participate in the vision and the call that the Prime Minister has made for Atmanirbhar Bharat, this, if it is a lost opportunity, what will be the biggest loss to the people of this country? So what is your message to the people of this country? I go first to Professor Bijoy Mishra.
Thank you. Thank you. So my message is, this is a great opportunity which the Honorable Prime Minister has provided to everybody, all the people involved in the supply chain, starting from the farmers to the consumers. You know, everybody is an opportunity. And my message is that how do you communicate to that end user, the consumer? And I'm giving this as a proposal to ASSOCHAM and to you, Anil Bhai. You take up this leadership. That every product which I buy in the market today, when I pick it up and I see the label in terms of expiry date, I should also be able to see what is the percentage of Indianness in that product. Is it 100%, 70%, 60%, or 30%? And let me make a choice out of all the products which are made available on the shelf of the retailer that which one I will go for, whether I will go for a 70% Atmanirbhar Bharat or a 30% Atmanirbhar Bharat product, so that there is an empowered choice to the consumer to take that decision that I want to promote and be part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat based on a truthful information on the label of the product, which is saying that it is available and safe till this date, but it is manufactured 100% Indian or 90% Indian or 30% Indian. Let the consumers come to know, or is it 100% imported? And there is no Indianness in that product. Let the consumer know and make that informed choice. That is my message going to ASSOCHAM, that take the leadership to empower the consumers to become Atmanirbhar Bharat and be a party to that Atmanirbhar Bharat movement, which the Prime Minister has given a clarion call. With this, I would like to close my message.
Thank you, Vijayan Bhai. Praveenji, what is your message to the people of this country? That if we lose this bus, who is to lose the most going forward?
Sir, while agreeing with Bijan Bhai that every product should have the content details, up to what extent of Indian raw material or Indian things are concerned have been put into that product, I say that now the time of discussion is over. Let us join hands together and begin a revolution for vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat in our country, and treat country as a whole, irrespective of our political, social, or other differences. If we join our hands, then the day is not far. Then, like Japan and like Germany, we can proudly say that yes, we are the Indians. This is my only message to the country, and specifically the persons who are attending this conversation. And on behalf of 7 crore traders represented by Confederation of All India Traders, I extend the fullest cooperation to this message of Prime Minister, vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Thank you very much. It has been a very engaging discussion, and I want to thank both Professor Bijoy Mishra and Praveen Khandelwalji for sparing their valuable time and sharing their thoughts with all the audience. And I'm sure there are many takeaways for ASSOCHAM from their deliberations. And I have no doubt that going forward, ASSOCHAM will take leadership in many of the ideas that they have brought out today. And I assure you on behalf of ASSOCHAM that we will work together in ensuring that we make a very strong, self-reliant India going forward. Thank you very much for coming and joining us. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.